Hi, everyone.
Surprise!
It's Doug and Janet.
Yeah, Janet Newberry here. There is great hope.
We're not in a truck.
We are not in a truck.
There's
We
a-
are not in a parking lot. We're on a porch.
With a real house. With a real house attached to it.
Yeah, lake house.
Yeah. So, how did we get here?
We are in Langley, Oklahoma. Thank
Yeah.
you, Nadine and Doug Houston, for letting us use your beautiful lake house for this week and
We hosted a retreat here, John 15 Academy Homeschool
family retreat.
Yeah.
We had some couples and some friends and family that were here joining us to figure out a new road in education. We're excited about John 15 Academy and the opportunity to support families as they go on a homeschool adventure. And John 15 Academy offers something different. So
Right,
if you're
some new
curious, you
tools.
can go to the janetnewberry.com website or message me, and I'd be happy to help you figure out what we offer. But we are here at a lake house. We should show them the lake.
Yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead
I'm
and turn
taking
it
a
around.
chance. Yeah. But so here's the view and the view. So you almost get a 360 of where we are. And we are so grateful for the opportunity to have had our retreat here. And I'm going to finish, that's a big word. I'm going to try to finish the chapters I'm writing for a new book about a new road in education while we're here this week.
It's a great place to do it, and it's not the first book that's been finished here.
Yeah.
I understand it. So, anyway, let's jump into it. Last week was part one.
Yeah, good morning. Helping your family have a good one on a school day. And now this is part two.
And we have had so much response to the part one. And
It was our most watched Facebook Live event yet.
yeah.
I think we hit a live vein on this topic.
Well, school is approaching, and so let's talk about what we can do. Maybe that's going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past.
Yeah, you want to review what we, just real
Yeah.
quick, the 3 takeaways from
Yeah.
last week?
Part one, the 3 takeaways that we had was aim at relationships rather than outcomes.
Because relationships will take care of outcomes, but outcomes
Every
won't
time.
take care of outcomes won't take care of relationships.
Set the culture rather than deal with it.
And that's for parents. That's for us, the adults. We get to set the culture instead of dealing with the culture that our children might set for us. And so we get to be the ones that do that. And I should I'll tell the story in a minute about how that happened at the retreat this weekend.
Okay, good. The third one,
Hi, Lori.
make family about belonging instead of just being good. Who doesn't want to belong?
Yeah, everybody has a need to belong, and when we make our homes performance-obsessed places to be, then we invite sibling rivalry, we invite hiding, we invite shame, because everybody's going to struggle. And so when your home is about belonging and about helping one another, and about loving one another and being loved, then it's a totally different atmosphere than if your home is about being good and everybody's got their own little chart and they're marking off their stickers and they soon figure out they're in competition with each other instead of cooperating with each other as a family. And so
That's doesn't really create a growth atmosphere in the
No,
home. at all.
right.
It's a competitive one, and we'll talk about that as well. The free resource that we went over, page 1 of the new free
Yeah.
resource.
Page 1, we went over a page that looks like this last time, and we were talking about being very specific with your family about what the culture in your home is going to be. What does it mean to be us as a family? Because that's what this resource is called. You can go to janetnewberry.com and download this for free. This is us in the morning. What do we look like as a family? When we're our best self, what do we look like as a family? What do we not look like as a family? What does it sound like as a family? And what does it not sound like it to be in our home? And you know, we did this at the retreat this weekend. When we got started on Saturday, I had a great big piece of poster paper on the wall, and we did a This Is Us on Retreat chart. And I just went through some of the things that it was going to be important if we were going to experience all that we needed and wanted to offer in the retreat, we needed to set the culture. And so there were things on the looks like list, like it looks like only appropriate screen use. It doesn't look like inappropriate screen use. You don't want people sitting at the table scrolling through their phones. And what does it look like? It looks like because we all slept at this lake house together, in the morning it looks like saying good morning to each other. It looks like it sounds like saying good morning to each other. It sounds like saying, how can I help? It sounds like responding when people make a contribution at the table. And here was a key part of the culture. On the not sounds like part of the chart, this is us on retreat this weekend. We wrote this, it does not sound like rabbit trails, right? It doesn't sound like griping. It doesn't sound like complaining. It doesn't sound like venting. There's a time and a place for that, but it wasn't at our retreat. And it might not be in your home in the morning either. There can be another time and place for that, but the participants said they felt protected by that. It doesn't sound like rabbit trails, because they knew that their time was treasured and valued and respected by me as a leader of the retreat, and that I was going to protect them from having to listen to someone's rabbit trail story. And we said, let's tell rabbit trail stories at lunch or at dinner or in the evenings together. But they felt protected by that. And they also said it was powerful to experience the This Is Us on retreat chart, because I filled it in as the leader. I didn't ask for group participation on the chart. I didn't say, what do we want this retreat to look like for us? They wanted to be led. They wanted the protection of a leader. And so I offer that to you as moms and dads and as parents, because your children want to be led too. And when we give them the privilege or the responsibility or whatever we call it, when we give them the opportunity to set the culture in our home, it's not a burden that they're ready to carry
They don't
yet.
have the maturity
Right.
yet to do that, so you're going to get an immature culture.
Right, and so when you do step one of this free resource and you're talking to your family about the culture that you want in your home in the morning, adults, that's your part. You get to tell them who you are as a family. This is who we are as a family. This is what it looks like and sounds like to be a part of us and to belong.
Family identity.
Yes.
Yeah. Leader sets the culture. Parents are at meetings like this, like the retreat. Parents set the culture at the home.
Yeah.
And so,
Because otherwise you're going to be left dealing with an immature culture. And so you get to take the lead, and then everyone gets to grow up and belong and feel like a part of something bigger than themselves.
so the
Yeah.
struggle, the morning struggles in the house.
Yeah, this chart isn't going to make it struggle-free. And struggle isn't the S word, and that's okay. Struggle is not the S word in life. We're all going to struggle. So you're going to put some things on this chart that is what your family looks like and sounds like on their best day. In their best self, what does it look like to have a school morning in our family? And there's going to be some things on this chart that are really easy for you and for your children, and that are not really easy for you and for your children. And the freedom of this chart is you get to be real, and
Yeah.
you get to identify that. And so, and then the chart comes with part two.
Yeah,
Right?
this is new for this week, and
Yeah, here's the chart for part two, because here's where the beauty of relationship begins to happen. Here's identity. And I'll say that in another way. This page is not about just another list of rules. This is not another way of establishing law in your home. This is a way of reminding your family of identity.
who we are.
Yeah, because we always behave out of our belief of who we are. And do we know who we are as a family? And so this is going to lose its power if it becomes law, because law gives us no power. Rules are good. They tell us the best way that life works. Rules tell us how to do things, but they don't give us the power to follow them. And identity, we always behave out of our belief of who we are. And so if I believe I can, if I believe I'm a writer, I'll write a book. If I believe I'm not a writer, I won't write a book.
Yeah.
I went rock climbing one time, and if I believed I was scared, I was paralyzed.
Yeah.
If I believed I could do it, I could keep climbing, right? And so we behave out of belief. And so this page is not about rules, it's about identity. Who do we believe we are as a family? And this page talks about the parts that are easy and the parts that are hard, and what are we going to do with the parts that are hard?
Okay, how does it start off? It's individualized. It's about who in the family, their strengths and who and what they need help on.
Yeah, you put each child's name here, and these words are so vital because it says, I am dependable and can be trusted too. And that's the box where you get to write down for each child the things that they already can do independently. Maybe your oldest child gets up with the alarm goes off on their phone and they get up right away. And so getting up on time gets to go, I am dependable and can be trusted to do that. And it's important that we chose these words, I am dependable and can be trusted to, because that's about relationship. That's very different than the traditional morning charts where everyone has their independent lists of things to do. And it's just about, it's really individually focused. This is family focused. So we're taking what our family looks like in the morning and the things that that need to happen, and we're putting it over here. These are the things that I don't need help with. I can do these by myself, right? Maybe I can make my bed by myself. Maybe I can pack my backpack alone. I am dependable and trustworthy to do these things. This is the box where we put down the things that we're not so dependable and we're not so trustworthy yet about, right? It says
Items where we need help.
yeah,
They're
that's
not
what it
strengths.
says. Yeah, it says, I need help. And here's the clue. And I will trust someone to help me. I will trust somebody to help me. And so let's say that getting up when the alarm goes off is not your child's strength. So it's not going to go up here on the I'm dependable and trustworthy part of the chart. It's going to go here. It's going to, getting up by 7 o'clock. Who are you going to trust to help you? Because your alarm's gone off, you've hit the snooze again. And so here's where we get to have this great conversation that says, you don't need to be stuck in that bad habit forever. Right. And as a family, this is not who we are. So who will you trust? Maybe you'll trust mom.
Or an older sibling.
Maybe you'll trust a younger sibling or an older sibling or dad. But who are you going to trust? And you're going to give them permission to walk in your bedroom and say, your alarm's already gone off at 7 o'clock. We're up now. And you're going to use that reminder as love, as the power of love. They're loving you well. You've given them permission to help you do something that's hard for you.
And that's the key. It's written down for a purpose, because it identifies not only a need that they have, because it's a weakness or something that it's not a strength yet, and they're trusting someone to help them with that and to grow into where
it's a powerful idea that way.
Right.
Because this is about relationship, and we mature and grow up in relationships. And the other beautiful thing that happens when we decide to give someone permission to help us in an area of our weakness is our real needs are being met. And when our real needs are being met on a school day before we walk out the door for the day, then we walk out with gas in our tank.
A full tank of gas.
We're ready to go.
We're prepared to meet whatever the day, the obstacles that come at us.
And it's an important distinction, because here's the other opportunity. Either it's chaos, right? Or if you use the traditional chart where you put a star or a sticker or a check box on your agenda, here's a scenario. Your 12-year-old could have got up on time, made their bed, ate breakfast, brushed their teeth. They're ready for school. They've checked everything off their agenda. And now they're sitting on the couch scrolling through their phone, and they haven't said good morning. They haven't replied when anybody else has said good morning. They haven't helped anybody. Nobody's helped them. They walk out the door completely independently competent with no real needs met, right? With just because relationship is what we're created for. And so individual dependence is great, but really for the purpose of this, right? The last box.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The last box is I will help. Like if I am ready to go and I'm sitting on the couch and my little brother is struggling and my mom's still got dishes in the sink, right? So where does someone in my family need my help? This is where I need help, and I'm going to trust somebody to help me, and I'm even going to write down their name because I'm going to say, yes, Mom, you can come help me get out of bed in the morning, and I will let you love me that way. I'm not going to hear it as punishment. I'm not
Right.
going to hear it as judgment. I'm going to hear it as love, and I'm going to be able to do something with your help that I couldn't do on my own. And I'm going to help the little guy in our family, help him make his bed. I'm going to
Either
help
that
him
or the
get his
dishes,
shoes on,
and
or I'm going to
if-
help Mom with the dishes or whatever. But you decide ahead of time who needs help. How do you pull this off? You know what your family looks like and sounds like in the morning, but how does it actually come to be? Because this is a beautiful snapshot of your family on a good morning, when they're their best self. But how does this actually happen? And that's what this second page of this resource is for.
Yeah, it places names, and it takes the identity out and puts it on paper and gives permissions where people can help, where help is needed, and it's also a great way for the older ones who can turn now, who have been helped, can now turn and help a sibling,
Right.
or help Mom or help Dad, and free up some time there for them to do what they need to do as well.
And here's the really beautiful part of this. We have one commandment, love one another. And here's the reason why. Because checking everything off of our personal agenda may give us a slight dopamine rush, but it is not deeply satisfying. And it doesn't help us mature. We will not be deeply satisfied except in relationship. And so we're going to need more and more dopamine if we're just doing the good thing and checking it off independently. But we're going to grow up. We're going to grow stronger in our relationships. It's going to be safe to ask for help in our home. Can I just repeat that? It's going to be safe to ask for help in our homes. We're going to figure out why someone doesn't trust us to help, and we'll be able to navigate through the tangles in that relationship so that we're trustworthy in our relationships at home. Just so many different things besides just getting out the door and on the school bus on time that can happen in the morning.
Yeah, so, and that example, that's a powerful example of where a 12-year-old is very proficient in the morning. They get everything done, and then they leave and walk out the door. The home may still be in chaos. They're not fulfilled. They're walking into their day.
Lonely and vulnerable.
Yeah, and they haven't experienced love at all, so they have nothing to give, and they have no fuel in their tanks. So they are vulnerable.
And oftentimes it's the 12-year-olds that need the most help, and they feel ashamed about needing help. And this invites the family to a conversation that says, you know, we all need help, and you can help too. And even a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, they could, in their little box that says I can help, they can be the one in charge of starting the good morning greeting. And you know, can be the one that makes sure everyone has been told good morning and responded. Everybody can help, and then everybody feels like their true self.
Let's talk a minute about what are our real needs. What needs do we wake up with every day that when we leave to go to work, to school, to play, or whatever, that we will leave home with a full tank? What are those God-given needs?
And
that
these
we
are
have?
not needs to brush your teeth or needs to make up your bed or needs to have breakfast, but we wake up every morning with relational needs. A need for affirmation, a need for belonging, a need for trust and security, a need for attention, the good kind of attention, a need for connection. There's
To be known.
Yes, a need to be known. And so when we, it's more than a need to get things done. And oftentimes that gets left out when we don't have a culture in our home of loving each other and letting others love us, which means letting them meet our real needs,
Yeah.
trusting them to do that.
So the behaviors,
That's good. You want to leave them with 3 takeaways?
we can.
Yeah,
We can.
that's a good idea.
The 3 takeaways, behavior is always the mirror of belief.
That's an interesting one to just linger on for a little while. If you want to know what your child is believing to be true about themselves or about you, look at their behavior, because behavior is always the mirror of belief. If they believe that they can or that it's important, it's an interesting conversation to say, what story are you telling yourself right now? What are you telling yourself about who you are? What are you telling yourself about your role in our family? What are you telling yourself about who I am as your parent? Because behavior is always the mirror of belief.
Yeah. The second one, we have a puppy next door too. We're all in the process of growing up and have real needs, including parents.
We are all in the process of growing up. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Dennis. And so we all have real needs. And so that's a good takeaway to think about in the mornings. We don't just need to get out the door with our clothes on and our teeth brushed. We all have real relational needs. And when those needs are met, we mature and grow up.
Yeah. Third one is love gives us the strength to do the thing that is true.
More than just rules. We've talked about that this first page isn't just a new way of listing out rules in your home, but it's a way of thinking about who you are as a family. This is an identity page. This is a snapshot of your family on their best day, right? And so more than just rules, love gives us the strength to do what we can't do by ourselves. So love gives us the strength to do the true thing. And so that's why it's the Bible says it's not good for man to be alone, right? And love one another is a brilliant plan.
These are great tools for reminders as to who we are as a family. What do we look like? What do we believe to be true about ourselves?
Yeah. So what is today's date?
Oh, gosh.
The 14th?
14th.
Yes, August 14th. Tomorrow, August 15th, is Brave Love Podcast has part 1 of this on the Brave Love Podcast tomorrow. So if you missed part 1 on Facebook Live, you can get it tomorrow morning on the Brave Love Podcast. Go to iTunes and look up Brave Love, and we invite you to join us there.
Yeah, it doesn't sound exactly the same as the Facebook Lives, but
Right.
it goes a little bit.
Right, a little bit
we
deeper.
stretch it a little bit deeper.
A little bit deeper. So join us on the Brave Love Podcast tomorrow, or visit my website, janetnewberry.com, and visit us in one of our online classes. But we have a lot of free resources, and download your free resource and let us know how it's working for you, or if you have a question.
Yeah, take a look at the website and see. There's a lot of tools on there that can help you and broaden your community too. This
Yes.
is a great community.
Yes.
So,
And if you think about it, pray for me, because I have 3 chapters to write before we go home on Saturday. A new road in education. There is great hope.
there is, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye
Thank
now.
you.